Hi, I'm Jan Hutchins, and it's my opportunity here to share something I think is really important for people to understand about the way we men, especially in America, are raised. We're taught to compete, but we are not taught how to love. We are given love, but the process of learning how do I respond to love, how do I give it back, is not something that we're taught. In fact, we're discouraged from spending much time at all studying or devoting ourselves to understanding what that means. And so, as a coach, and I teach lots of men, I like to deal with men because I'm a man and I can relate to what's going on. And it's so painful to watch how I and men have, in many ways in their lives, created suffering unconsciously because they don't understand and weren't taught how to love. That the way in which I help my clients and serve them, facilitating themselves into change, is around helping them come up with an understanding of what love really is. There are two basic notions to this. One is that love is a kind of unconditional relationship with the other, where it's not about what I get. We are taught to give love in order to get, or at least pretend love in order to get what we want in the world, as just another form of competing. And we're also unaware of the ways in which it's love that gets us to change, not some intellectual process or some discipline or some father figure in our head's voice telling us we're not good enough. And thus, that's how we get to be loving and be better, try harder, all those ways in which the competition paradigm is the one that we're trying to operate through, rather than the non-trying, letting our heart, our soul, our spirit emerge in ways that are loving. So, a couple ways to speak to this, and the one is the unconditional. If I think, and I use the phrase often, unconditional love is presence, that is to actually be present. What is a more beautiful thing for any of us than to have this sense of being in connection, present to one another? I feel what you feel. I see what you see. Half of our conversation is, hey, do you see that thing I see? Yes, and we have a shared. Men, for instance, work best, I judge, my experience, if we are facing in the same direction. We are seeing the same thing side by side, rather than in the confrontation, which brings up all of that competitive urge. It's hard to get a man to speak or let down his defenses, because he so frequently in that confrontational place feels I have to be challenged and fight and be in competition with the person in front of me. So presence with unconditional, and this is really hard to fathom, to remove all of the conditions that say it has to be this way before I love, or that way before I love, or I have to get that back in some way in the loving relationship, or I'm not going to give it because it's so precious. It hurts so much. I have been wounded before, and I have to be safe. Men in this competitive paradigm are taught very much how to find safety, how to be superior, how to defend, but not to just open, relax, and love. Presence with unconditional attention. It's not about me. Love is a kind of separate thing that has nothing to do with my ego identity, all the I, me, mine. It is to be attentive to what is. The other is important enough for me to be paying attention. So, presence with unconditional attention, acceptance. This is that unconditional piece. Acceptance of however she, he, they, it is showing up. My art, my job, my career, I can give it acceptance that it's showing up the way it is. It is what it is. This is a reality test. And I'm going to accept that. I can open every morning. I used to have a habit of going out and standing as close to naked as I could in the outdoors and just opening my arms to the sunrise and saying, I can accept whatever life brings me today. It got me through some tough periods in my life. So I'll repeat this a bunch of times. Hopefully it doesn't drive you crazy. Acceptance, presence with unconditional acceptance, attention, mm, appreciation. That in some way I can be appreciative of what the presence of the other is in my life. I do this with my body. I am very appreciative that I can walk, breathe, smell, taste, see, feel. All the ways in which my body blesses me on a regular basis allows me to have this relationship of absolute appreciation for what I'm having in this relationship. I'm connecting to it rather than desiring the body be taller, smarter, faster, stronger. I'm appreciating what it is, and that almost always tends to help it build itself into a better state of relation with me. So, presence with unconditional attention, acceptance, appreciation, and affection. This is when it gets really sweet, when I can be affectionate toward that which I am in relationship with, that I love. I love the sunrise, the sunset. I love the sun in lots of ways, and I can be absolutely affectionate to the way in which it makes everything grow, and I eat what it grows. So I am the sun. I am light itself. I am, in many ways, a reflection of its gift to me. So, and then in relationship, I end with this in this phrase, the ability to let the other be as they are. So that kind of duplicates acceptance, but here's the whole phrase. Presence with unconditional attention, acceptance, appreciation, affection, and allowing the other to be as it is. So that's a way I help men understand a new way of being in love and being love. And the other is, as we do the change, as we're coaching and we're working usually towards some relief from suffering or some self-actualization amazingness in the person. I need to make the transition to a new job, in a new relationship, in a new way, in a new place in the world. I have to take on the role of father. I have to deal with the issues of being in a loving relationship. I have to be, in some ways, other than I have been. Very hard to change when I am thinking about it, defending in an ego way, and back in that competition mold. Instead, if I can drop from my head to my heart, if I can convince the man that the only way he's going to ever get what he really wants is to be it, to not look for how to manipulate the world to get love and give love. It's not a competition. It's not a cognition. It's an experience. It's all around. I like to use the idea that everything I want and need in life is available in plain sight, but it's hidden. And it requires this presence, a kind of curiosity, and a patience for the blocks that my life has put in front of me. Don't be weak. Be a man. You're not hurt. Try harder. Give 150%. All of these stories about how much it's hard and difficult are an illusion that blocks me from opening to accept the love that is all around me. All the people who work every day, all the time to make my life better, all the bad things that media tells me about how horrible the world is and how dangerous it is, are countered but not broadcast by all of the glorious, wonderful things that people are doing for me. Every team I was on, every group I've ever been part of, very few because I'm kind of a loner, have been a reflection of this desire we all have. And in every coaching opportunity, all we really want get down to, all we really want at the bottom is this sense of connection, this ability to really experience love, not give it, get it, but experience the connectivity when I'm compassionate. Better than compassionate even is when I'm empathetic. I feel what you feel. I relate to who you are. We are connected. so that the craving leaves our lives, this sense that something needs to be different or something needs to be better. I need to be bigger, better. I've got to manipulate, wear the right clothes, put on the right makeup, do the things that will cause my surface appearance to be, in the right focus and place. When the real thing is to allow this natural desire for love and empathy and connection to just emerge. It is here all the time. And I can only block it with the story of this competition, this way in which men have been given the wrong message. I coach men, and if you have men in your world, or you are a man and want a free session to talk about this and see if it works for you, please reach out to me, Jen Hutchins, Jen Darwin Hutchins on Facebook or LinkedIn, and also on the link here on this page. Blessings.